If you are new to registering with Sam.Gov, you would first click on the, once you're signed in, you would click on the home page and it would bring to you to get started. But since I already have that information, I'm just going to walk you through the information that I put in so that way you can have a step-by-step look at what it looks like. So I will go to my workspace and then I would scroll down to where it says entity information and it says that I have an active registration. But for you, let's just do this. For you, you will go to get started and then it gives you the steps. And if you want to read through this part right here, it'll tell you all what it takes to register. You definitely have to have a UEI and get a UEI number and a cage code. That's what allows you to register. So to get started, you would click on get started, create a new entity directly with the U.S. federal government. You want to bid on federal procurement opportunities as a prime contractor, and then you will go to next. And then you would say who requires your entity to be in Sam.Gov, the federal government. And then you would go to next and choose an option. The recommended option is all awards, so that way you don't miss out on anything. So these are the awards, and then you would choose select. And then it says, are you registering a government entity? And you're gonna say no because we're not. And then it's gonna ask you, my entity is a physical location in the United States. Yes, if it is, you click that. If it's not, then you'll click this one. And then you will go to next. And then it says, do you already have a cage code? If you've never registered with Sam.Gov, then you don't have a cage code. So you would press no. And then you would go to next. And it says you will be registering the following: entity type, business or organization, and your purpose is for all awards. You don't have to click anything. You would just go to next. And then it will say prepare your data. So this is the part, you're gonna get an entity, then you're gonna go through the core data, then you're gonna go to point of contacts, and then assertions, and then reps and certifications. Things that you need to have before you even start this process. One, you need to have a bank account. It doesn't have to be a business bank account. You just need a routing and account number. Two, you need to make sure that you're registered with your state, making sure that you have a register with the Secretary of the State. Your business has to be a legitimate business and it has to be registered with the Secretary of the State because it will be verified. Three, you need to have a physical address. So you can't have a virtual address. So if you are just starting with Sam.Gov, or if you have a virtual address, you would need to get that changed with the Secretary of the State, whether you're using your address or your home address or a physical address. If you don't have a business that has a location, then you can use your home address. And then another thing that you must have is a EIN number. That is free with the IRS. You can go on irs.gov and get you a EIN number. Please make sure that your information that is on the Secretary of the State matches up with the information that is on the IRS. That means from if you put street, avenue, make sure all that matches up. That matters. Zip code, make sure it matches up. Before you submit your information with the IRS, please go back to the Secretary of the State. Make sure that that address, information, name, all that matches up. Reason I'm saying that is because when I did it, I accidentally put an S on the Secretary of the State for my last for enterprises, and then with the IRS, I didn't put an S, so the names didn't match up. So then I had to go back to the Secretary of the State, change the name, and pay an additional fee to change my name. So just make sure that all things match up before trying to register with Sam.Gov because that can hinder you, and you just want to make sure all your information matches up. And then after you have that, you'll go to the next step. And this is where you'll enter in your information. I'll just put mine in. And then I'll go to next. Now what they're doing, they're looking it up. So it's already registered with Sam.Gov. So I recognize my entity as a legalist on here. This is my entity. If it's not, you just put I don't recognize my entity on this list, and then you can just, it'll go direct you. So yeah, I'm already registered with Sam.Gov. So that's just the first thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk you through what I have on my end because I'm already registered, and then you can kind of copy paste from that. Okay, so I go to my workspace, and then because I'm already registered, I'll go here. Okay, and then they changed it. So update. I am an employer or officer of this entity. I certify it. Then I go to next. Okay, I would like to update, renew my entity, my entire entity registration. So that's what I'll click, go to next. Looks like, yeah, select this one. I'm already in there. I'm already in there. So this is the part where you're gonna do all this, and once you've received your UEI. So that stage before, you're going through that process, and then eventually you'll receive a UEI. Once you receive your UEI, that's when you'll start entering like your business information and all this other stuff that they ask. So you'll hit continue. The cage code is at the end. So it asks you these questions: start date of your entity, the what year. So you'll put, if you just started your business, you'll put the end of the year that you just started. So if you started it on January of 24, then you'll put December of 24. And you want to put in the physical address, and the mailing address is the same, if it's the same. And then they have some disclaimers, some things that you should read. Then it's going to ask you for what are you going to put in. You choose if you're a registered with the Secretary of the State, you'll put in your EIN number. That's where you get from what you got from the IRS. Taxpayer's name, they put in your business name, the address again, and then type of taxes. Is going to say the tax year, whatever year you're in. Then you'll go ahead and put in the name of the individual, which would be you. And then they're going to send you a code. So with this code, whatever email that you registered with Sam.Gov when you originally started, you want to make sure that you have access to that email address. So you'll tell it to send you a code, and then you would definitely check your email. I'm going to go ahead and check my email on my phone, and also check your spam too, because sometimes it be in the spam as well. So they send me a code. Confirm that passcode. Now we're going on to the next thing. Do another entity own or control your entity you're registering? No. Are you a successor or a predecessor that held federal contracts and grants in the last 3 years? I haven't. If you're just registering, then you probably haven't either. Then you're gonna enter this information, whatever state you're in, whatever country you're in, institute type, not applicable, disadvantage, business, enterprise. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. So these are some of the questions that they ask. I'm a for-profit. You can register nonprofit if you want, if you are a nonprofit, but that doesn't apply to me. So you can select these right here. Your small business, woman-owned business, minority business, black-owned business. You can put all those things in there. So if it applies to you, then you want to go ahead and do it. It'll be displayed on your reps insert portion. Okay. Well, sorry. It says the NAICS code entered in the assertion portion of the registration and displayed with your reps inserts portion of the registration code. So you can put this in if it applies to you. Though there are certifications that you can get for each one of those. I don't have those certifications, but I just put that in because that's who I am. My business is a woman-owned business, black-owned business, those different things. Make sure that when you see this question, do you accept credit cards as a payment method? You want to make sure you answer this as yes. Then you'll go ahead and start putting in checking or savings. They'll ask you for your routing account number. You can update that, and then it'll pull the bank. It'll automatically put the bank institute in there. Make sure you put in your phone number and an email address for the ACH. The remittance address, you put in that. You can put in your same address that you have for your business. So these are some questions that they're going to ask you. These are the answers to it. Here goes some more questions, the answers to it. Read through it. If it applied, then answer it. If it don't apply, just put no. So then this is what it'll look like. It'll give you a briefing. So you'll go through this and see your district. You need to make sure that's in there too. But it'll go through and just look through your information. Make sure all this is accurate. You won't have a case code at the beginning because that's what you're working to get, but I already have one. So mine is just an update. So putting all this information in, and then I'm going to go to save and continue. And then you can pick a NAICS code. So let me just say this, with NAICS codes, when you're bidding on government contracts, when you look under Sam.Gov, there are specific NAICS codes that are required for that contract. What you do, this is once you get your cage code, say if you don't have that NAICS code in there, you can always go and update registration and then add that NAICS code. You will go through that process that I just went through, and then you would search the NAICS code, put in search, and then send it here. Same thing with the product service. Sometimes they give you a product and service code. You can put that in here under search, and then it'll go in. So these are NAICS codes with different ones, contracts that I've bid on. Usually, what you should do if you're interested in a government contract, if that's something that one you want to work on, I would say go ahead and enter your NAICS code in at the beginning, just in case you forget to do that. I would say that would be the first thing you want to do, is making sure that you have the NAICS code, because that can stop you from winning a contract. So annual, you can put this a $1 in, and then you save it, and make sure you just put it how I have it, and then you'll put no. You can. Do you wish to be included in disaster response registration? I put no. At the time, that's up to you. But I put no. So that was just, if you want to go into more research about it, then you can do that. But me, I was trying to get it registered, so this is what you'll do to get registered. So now we have this page. This is my NAICS code. I put this as my primary because that was one of the main ones I was working on at the time. And then this is basically all the information. And then you go to your title, contact person. I'm the president. Okay. And then you'll start answering your FAR clauses. These are the FAR clauses. You'll answer it, read it. If it applies, then it does. If it doesn't, then don't put it in there. Put no if it doesn't apply and yes if it does. And then make sure that you're answering all the needed questions. These are some more FAR clauses. If you want to learn more about FAR clauses, there are websites for that to understand what they are exactly, and how they're used. They're used in basically they're used on your behalf as well as the government's behalf for different reasons. I do have something kind of going over FAR clauses to help you get a better understanding. That is part of one of my packages with understanding FAR clauses. So then we're answering these questions. I'm sorry, I went through that. These are all my NAICS codes that I put in. So standard size, this is how much to be considered a small business, right? The amount of money. You can make this under this and still be considered a small business. So this is because of one of the FAR clauses that I chose. It might not pop up. Um, I know, I'm sorry, not FAR clause. This is because of one of the NAICS codes I chose. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was for a bid that a contract that I was working on that allowed me to have to put this information in. So I would say if you're gonna start off with one NAICS code. It only requires one, and then once you go to the next, when you're starting to bid on contracts, then I would say you can use other NAICS codes. But the one that I started with, I think it was maybe janitorial or a consultant, something like that, something simple, in order to just move through the process. Because the cage code is what you really want to focus on, getting a cage code. If you want to read through all these FAR clauses and DFARs, you can. These are kind of things that will be on when you're looking at a solicitation. You'll see all this on the solicitation. So if you want to read through them, you can do that. Just trying to get through it. So these are kind of like the FAR clauses of importance. It's kind of break down different what each FAR clause means and what it applies to you when you're registering. You just put I have read and then continue. Now your point of contact. I am the point of contact. That's my email address. Electronic Business PLC point of contact. Same thing. You yeah. Then when you're the point of contact. So just continue. If you are a company that you are partially owned, two people or more own it, then the information might be a little different. But for those who are it's just you, then this is what you'll put in. And then it'll go back and give you a briefing. Please make sure that you go over everything, making sure that all the information you enter is correct before you submit it. These are some of the NAICS codes I put in. I can't remember exactly which one caused that part that I was telling you about, but like janitorial service, that's the easy one. Let's see. They're just different ones you can put in, but you don't have to put in a whole bunch of them. One is fine to get your case code. And then you'll submit it. And then it's going to send you a code again. And then you'll go back to your email. And let me just show you what that looks like. So this is my business email. Mine is in my spam account. So mine is in my spam account. Yours might not be in your spam account, but then this is what it looks like. I'm trying to go back to what I was on.